Okay, the first thing I want to say is that there is a bonus episode up on the Patreon now that was recorded.
Is it started?
Yes, it has started. What, you think I'm telling you this? You think I'm trying to get you to subscribe to our Patreon?
No, that would be ridiculous.
That would be ridiculous. But there is a bonus episode up for the $5 and up tier people. It was recorded prior to going to Edinburgh. The only thing I know about it is the only thing I remember from it is explaining something that I saw at a comedy show, but it wasn't comedy.
I don't remember what that was.
Yeah, well, listen to the episode then. And so we might as well just shout out everybody right now, get that out of the way. You ready?
Big shout out to Chicken House Niall, Damo, Kev's,
Mr. Cool Guy.
Mr.
Or I think
Cool
it's Dr.
Guy.
Cool Guy.
Dr. Cool Guy.
I think it's Doctor.
The Taliban.
I think he's no.
Al Qaeda.
No, gone too far. We don't get any financial support from them. Why would you just give them free publicity for no reason?
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Exactly. Fine. I'm admitting
Sorry.
we have a price.
It's coming up to
retract it.
the 20th anniversary of 9/11.
Oh God.
So
No.
I'm just getting back into learning all about.
Getting back into that is precisely actually what you're doing. So I just went on a podcast and. It was just a quick thing I had to do. You knew I had to do it, but you were like, "Can I finish watching my show?" And I thought it was The Handmaid's Tale because you're just getting involved in that. But apparently,
that's getting very feminist and it's kind of offensive.
Yeah, apparently it's just too idyllic for you. So now you've turned on Turning Point, 9/11, and the War on Terror. And I walked into the room, and your eyes were lit up like it was Christmas. I'm not even kidding. It's semi-disturbing. You were staring at the TV, and you were like, "I forgot how graphic this footage is." And I'm like, "Excuse me, you forgot?"
You walked in on my favorite part.
Horrifying what you're saying. And
my favorite part is in a bad way, just it's in
a bad way. The whole thing is bad.
No, some people's favorite part, I think the Arabs' favorite part is when the planes hit. But my favorite part, as someone who just wonders about the world, is when they fell. Because I'm like, it just looks crazy the way they fell. And I'm not one of those crazy...
What, the towers?
Yeah.
You mean what, that the building didn't survive?
Yeah.
So your favorite part is... considering the infrastructure.
A lot of people think history changed when that second plane hit the building. And I think history changed when the second tower came down. I know it's only a few minutes difference. Let's just say history did change forever when the plane hit the building.
Uh-huh.
Because suddenly the people in the West aren't safe anymore, really,
Right. I mean...
But for me, the tower came down and then... it changed in a different way because how did that fall down the way it did? And then, all the nutcases.
Oh, we're doing a conspiracy
I'm not even
here.
a conspiracy
okay.
theorist.
Why is it playing in my living room on a Saturday?
This is on Netflix.
Really
they will not have the balls to ask those questions on a Netflix documentary.
They didn't shove it down your throat. You're really giving new meaning to the term never forget. Like, I walked in and I was like, really, we're doing this? And to be honest, I didn't. I've never watched an excessive amount of that footage. I think it's a sad thing that happened. Have I made jokes about it? Of course.
You're not a patriot. I'm more of a patriot than you.
Fine, whatever. You win. You're a patriot. It did.
I do like the backstory. I do like learning about
the backstory.
I do like the backstory.
What, like the origin story of fucking?
No,
what are you, you made it sound like it's a Marvel comedy world.
Well, there's a whole sorts of characters that go back to the 70s.
Okay.
Osama bin Laden's family, who are construction giants from Yemen, who used to be dirt farmers, moved their way through Yemen until they got to Saudi Arabia, built that. They mixed the concrete themselves. Become billionaires, and what do they do?
Did I pay for a college course I didn't know I was attending right now? Is that what's happening?
You did. They've got one son who could be whatever he wants. He can just go and
sounds like you want to fuck him.
Models in Paris.
Sounds like you want him to date you.
What's he going to do? He fights with the Mujahideen against the Soviets in fucking Afghanistan in the 80s, and he's a fascinating character. Not that he's a good guy, but interesting.
Okay. Yeah, well, I guess, if it's 3 p.m. on a Saturday, why not? Just a little light.
These are the real-life baddies of our lifetime, So they're fun to learn their names. They got fun names.
Well, why don't you write a country song about them or some rap lyrics? And
yeah, that's what rappers don't rap enough about Al Qaeda.
They don't. I don't think. I
They're
know.
after
I'm
about
not saying I know.
Bling and Zannies. They need more of a global scope.
Well, maybe if you got the kind of some Xannies, everything would calm down a little bit. You know.
If they got what, Bin Laden some Zannies?
Yeah, everybody put everybody on a little more Xanax.
I'm sure he was probably smoking opium. They're beyond getting calmed down. They got a goal. They might do it. They've got so much equipment right now. I had a joke.
Yeah, I
Wait,
know.
I don't like the way you
Okay.
make that noise when I say it.
Because okay, fine. Tell that. Well, no, because I know the joke. You already told it to me, and then I'll say the same.
No,
thing.
it's not. It's not that one.
Oh, it's a different one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's go.
Yeah.
Fine.
So, did you see that the Taliban killed that comedian?
No.
They killed a comedian. One of the first things they done was they killed a TikTok comedian. That's pretty sad, isn't it?
Jeez. God.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he made jokes
That's
all
a good
the
reason
way.
to not be on TikTok.
He kept on making jokes all the way while they took him away to shoot him. Quite admirable. But then I started to think maybe that was their fucking version of James Corden, you know? A real abomination of God.
I don't know what James Corden is.
Whatever. There's no point doing jokes to you. You've got no fucking...
Well, why are all your jokes a hot take? Why do I have to know what a James Corden is in order to enjoy...
He's a fat piece of shit is what he is.
Okay, so what's the joke? What's the punchline?
I don't know. It was more of a thought than a joke.
Well, I guess I'm happy to live in a world where...
Most jokes start as thoughts, and then they become jokes, you know?
Yeah, okay.
A lot of them get aborted.
Not enough of them.
Yeah, true that.
And thanks to Texas, even less now.
See, I didn't even look into that.
I mean, there's not much to look into. It's pretty cut and dry.
They're not gonna make abortion illegal in Texas.
I mean, it's 6 weeks.
You have to do it in 6 weeks.
You have to do, yeah.
Or else you have to drive across state lines.
Yeah, but you act like Texas isn't gigantic and like everybody like has a car and like can afford to do that and shit. And it's a fucking nightmare. It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
6 weeks is a bit steep.
It's insane. The whole it's lunacy.
Yeah, your body, your choice.
Yeah, and
is what people say to. I just say it now.
Well, they say that unless
I say it for vaccines.
They say it unless you want to not get vaccinated.
I say it for vaccines.
And then they're like, well, no, you deserve to die. You and your stupid family, you're stupid. You die. That is how people do that.
I'm double vaxxed autistic, but I kind of prefer the anti-vaxxers.
I'm double vaxxed autistic. You have no new skills. I will say that. You've acquired no new skills. Fuck, my mic's cutting out. Looks like we're gonna need more equipment.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Sorry. Excuse me.
Yeah. Okay. So double vaxxed. I'm also double vaxxed. It was
Have you picked up a Rubik's Cube since you got your second vaccination?
No. And I did, however, go to the Edinburgh Fringe, where I would say 90% of the people that I came into contact there have gotten coronavirus because it's a super spreader event. And if you didn't know that, apparently. You're lying to yourself. What?
I guess at this stage, now that there's people I see and know, I guess it's not fake. 18 months later, I guess it's not fake.
Yeah, but I didn't get it. I don't know how. I don't know why.
Lucky you.
I mean, I guess you could say the vaccination, but other people that I know that are vaccinated got it. So, whatever. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. The Fringe.
Did you make money?
Yeah.
How much?
I'm not gonna say how much. Why? I've told you.
What? Did you?
Yeah.
I forgot.
We're doing this on mic. We're really doing this. I was gonna say. You're
gonna get me a new baseball cap.
I got this idea. I think that everybody says there's too many podcasts.
There is.
I think there's not enough podcasts. I think rather than having to listen to my friends bitch about like their significant others or whatever, they just do it on a podcast and then they can send it over to me and I can listen to it when I got time.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah, think of it like that. Like on your way to work, on the subway.
So if someone's like, if you're at lunch with someone,
you don't even have to talk to them. Yeah, just be like,
just go. Can you just fucking podcast this over to me? Because I
just podcast it over to me.
I don't want to listen to you right now.
Yeah.
But then people would just stop talking altogether and just podcast at each other.
I know you haven't either. I have seen. I had one friend from New York. He was over here. I had lunch. That's the first person I've seen since coronavirus happened that I actually fucking have known. You know, and it was weird. He's gray. He's like fully gray now.
Was he non-gray before?
Yeah, he
Gray looks good on men though.
No, he's unfortunately
he's a
on
the bitches,
handsome gay.
It doesn't look as
untrue. And don't look at me. Are you fucking implying something? I've seen my gray hair, but what are you trying to?
No, I said the ladies usually dye their hair anyway. So
yeah, well, I'm not.
You're just gonna go gray.
Time for that. Yeah,
like a witch.
Yeah, I am a witch. Oh,
is that your wife, the witch in the corner over there?
Who's gonna say that to you?
What if you have gray hair?
That's what's gonna happen. That's just it. Like the witch. Okay. So, at 10 minutes and 48 seconds into a podcast. I don't know when we had taken the mushrooms, but I just know they kicked in really quick.
Yeah, it wasn't an hour or anything.
No, like we took it with a reasonable amount of time.
It wasn't meant to happen like that because we both just stopped and stared at the wall and then the whole place melted.
Well, I know I started talking about something that I don't remember why I was talking about it. And then I started, well, this is precisely why, a friend of mine, I won't name him, but he's like a squeaky clean comic. He's been in the business a really long time. And I say that just because I have not been in the business as long as him and the business. And I'm not squeaky clean on stage. But I've seen him eat a handful of mushrooms and then go headline a packed room. And you would have no idea.
Well, I did it last week as well. Not headline, but I did a spot after some.
Well, how'd you feel when you were doing your spot?
Pretty normal. Yeah.
Normal.
Yeah.
I feel like
I almost couldn't care less.
Well,
it went well as well, but I mean, I just did old material because you imagine trying to do. No, it was whatever. It was so whatever. What I was actually more nervous about was going to the bar to get a beer. That I had to rehearse in my head a few times.
Well, that's sort of what was happening last night when I was seeing at you just stare at our bookcase. I was saying something, and I was like, what is this? What is this sounding like? Like what? And I don't think it was anything. It was I was talking about going to lunch with my friend. And then I was like, why are you telling everyone that you did this? Who are you trying to impress? I don't know. It just, the walls of my mind started caving in. And then we decided to stop recording.
Yeah, no, couldn't be continued.
But what was funny then to me was so, I think, we've discussed on here at length, or I've definitely discussed, especially while we were in, 12 months of straight lockdown, or 13 months, but let's be honest. Okay, we had a 6-week break in between. It doesn't matter. The point is it was a long time. And I think there were a few occasions, more than a few, where I personally was trying to use drugs to escape my situation, which is, in my opinion, really never the reason to use drugs, right? It's not an escape. You shouldn't be running away from things, or using anything in that way, whether it's food, exercise, drugs, whatever. That's my opinion. But so last night when they kicked in so quickly, we went to sit on the couch and you were like, should I put on some music? What should we do? And it started reminding me of being in lockdown, right?
It's felt like that a few times when we took acid and stuff and we're like, what are we meant to do now?
Yeah.
And then you're just like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, fuck, let's just watch TV, which is not the plan. It's not the plan at all, but that's what happens.
It should never be the plan. Yeah. But so you were looking at me and I started to feel really uh-oh, because I was like, ugh, but we could go outside, but I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how to even be a person outside anymore, or even who I am. But that was the point. Is then I was sitting there, and I was trying to, when you did drugs as a kid, did you ever have the trip keeper? Somebody who was sort of supposed to be kind of lucid and in charge a little bit.
What? No, we didn't invite any loser to watch, a documentary maker.
No, it's usually somebody who's just drinking a documentary maker. Okay, it's somebody just who's usually drinking alcohol, or who's the one
Nah, no one. Everyone was on. Everyone wanted to be a mess. So
well, when I was on mescaline, right? See, you're everyone wanted to be a mess, but here I'll explain. The time I took mescaline, for the only time I've taken mescaline, the night before we had, nearly drank ourselves to death. And then we drove 45 minutes from San Francisco to Davis so I could get my ribs tattooed. Which,
my Lord.
Oh my Lord is right. We stopped at In-N-Out, and I remember the burger. It was delicious. They always are.
Should you eat before you get your ribs tattooed?
I was so hungover. Like, yes. Yeah. But so then I go in to get the amount of pain I was in. I started at one point, like I was breathing so hard that I started hyperventilating because I was just trying to breathe through how absolutely painful it was. And it was like my friend's brother-in-law who was doing it. And it was not, this is not like it's not like, carpe diem. It's like a full-on it's like a Polaroid tattoo, right? So you had to fill in.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, I at some point had to get up and vomit. Or actually, no, I vomited before we walked into the tattoo parlor because I had eaten the In-N-Out, but I was feeling sick in the car. So I vomited like in the grass and then walked into the tattoo parlor. And the whole thing took 6 hours because it was...
You must have smelled bad.
Of course I stunk. But so did my friends because they were getting drunk in the park the whole time. Oh. They were getting hammered. They had, like a 24-pack of beers. And the friend that was driving us, so at the time... She was on heroin, right? So she was doing heroin at the time. That was her thing, which none of us did. We never ventured that far into the, great void. But I have this Polaroid picture of them in the tattoo parlor, and two of them just look hammered, and she's just covered in bruises, because she's a fucking heroin addict. And I'm like getting this tattoo. They're drinking in the park. So they'd sometimes periodically come in to check on me, and they smelled of booze. They were just like, "Oh, it's okay, cool, man," And then we got pizza before we got on the ride home, and like this is a big thing in California or just the West Coast in general. Ranch, dipping your pizza in ranch.
No, I'm familiar with the
concept. Delicacy. It's incredible. It was actually a real rude awakening when I moved to New York, and I was like, you don't have ranch to give me, like cider ranch. And I remember the ranch was so delicious, this particular ranch at this pizza place, that we had this water bottle, and I like emptied the water bottle and like poured the ranch in it to like take it back to their apartment.
Why didn't you just steal the bottle?
No, because they give you they give you like a little Dixie cup with a side of ranch.
Oh,
so like
Jesus Christ, that is disgusting and tragic.
We poured a bunch of ranch into a water bottle, and then we got back in the car to drive back to San Francisco. And it's like the sun is going down now, and I'm like sitting in the back seat with one of my friends, and the girl driving is named Barbara. So and she's in the front seat with this other guy. And I'm sitting back there, and my friend Colton, like, looks at me, and he goes, like, we've been on the road, like, maybe 15 minutes, and he just, like, looks at me, and he's like, "I've taken my mescaline, have you?" And, like, I didn't even have it on me, and I was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, are you fucking with me? Because, like, if you give me that, and I'm the only one high on I'm going to be really upset. And he, like, wouldn't tell me if he was serious, but you can kind of, like, see, like, a glimmer in his eye. So he gave me the drugs, and I ate it, and then I remember it started kicking in at the gas station. Like things got weird pretty quickly. And then I remember we got back to their apartment, and, Brendan was trying to convince Barbara to stay and not shoot up and drive, or she wasn't shooting up, but she was smoking heroin and drive back to Sacramento. And I remember I called my mom, because that was sort of the thing that I learned after being sent away was
call her early.
Yeah, you call, you get it out of the way, and so.
Then you don't have to rehearse in your head and come up with a good excuse.
Exactly. My phone is melting in my hand. I'm trying to dial, and I'm like, uh-oh, and I'm like, "Hey, Mom, oh, yeah, we're back. We had a big night last night, just a quiet night in, and I, did it, and then I put the phone away, because this was, really times have changed, right? Because, when I used to do drugs with my friends, we were nowhere near our fucking cell phones. My friends have an iPhone 5. 2 of them do. And to even get them to get that phone was trying to basically, bring a horse to water. Is that what it is? No. Can you bring a horse? You can't make it drink. Whatever.
Oh, you can. Yeah, you can't make the fucking thing drink. Apparently.
Yeah, no.
I'm only thinking about that now for the first time. What the fuck does that even mean?
What is
it? What if he's not thirsty?
You bring my friend Colton to water, and he grows wings, and he's a Pegasus, and he flies into the heavens. Like, this is not this person, like, does exactly what he wants to do whenever he wants to do it. Meanwhile, without, like, disrupting society. Do you know, he's I don't know. So, they both have iPhone 5s, him and Matthew. So, you just, the phones were never out. Like, you actually went and experienced the world, which, like, I could really...
That doesn't happen anymore.
I wish I just want to set my phone on fire. Like, I pick it up, and I don't even know what I'm doing.
It's after rewiring my brain. No, I'm fucking retarded.
Yeah.
I can't. I look around for it. I want to touch, I want to tap things just to get an endorphin hit. It's very tragic.
And I don't even get that. Honestly, the phone makes me feel bad.
My neurons are burnt out.
You know what I just got back from the Fringe, right? And by just got back, I mean 6 days ago. But it really took a lot out of me, like, because I was doing, like, at least an hour a day, some days 2 hours a day, plus, like, 5 shows. And I'm not even exaggerating. And some of them were, like, hour-long panel shows or whatever. And it was really great, and I'm really grateful and whatever. But I 100% overexerted myself, and, like, I wasn't sleeping enough and everything. I mean, I think, I walked into the apartment, and I believe I cried. If
you were crying before you got in. You were crying at the bottom of the stairs. I was like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Oh, shut up. You were very nice. Don't.
It's like a little puppy dog that just came in out of the rain that got scared by a car or something.
Well, on that note, I, like, the last night, like, I finished at 1:30 in the morning, and I have to tell you, after doing, you do all these hours and shit, and then you walk out, like, everybody leaves the venue. They've given me all their money. I should be thrilled, right? I'm like, I did all the stand-up. The people liked it. They paid me again. I say goodbye to the venue people. Obviously, I have, like, issues with, like, the end of things, so I'm, like, looking at this empty venue, and I'm like, it's not gonna be like this till next year, and then I walk out in the street, and there's not a single person on the street. How alone you go from being, like, everybody's staring at you and they're like, hooray, to, like, you're dead alone. So I kind of panicked, and then I went and met up with some people, but it was too late to do any drugs, really. But I ended up going and partying with the teenagers who run my venue, who are all very nice and 10 years younger than me. And I ended up leaving their flat at, like, 8 a.m., and that's when I, like, decided to, I called my best friend in California who was going to sleep, and I was like, should I take, some acid and, like, decompress and wait for my train and whatever?
Yeah, that's how that works, for sure.
Well, I thought I would sit there and meditate on the whole fucking experience and whatever, but that is not what happened. What happened was I agreed to meet up with a very nice person for coffee as I was getting on my train, which turned out to be fine, but I had not slept. I was, like, packing. I really just needed somebody to dump my dead body on a train and just, wake me up when I get to London. But instead I was like, yeah, let me have a social engagement while wondering if I'm going to get a seat on a train that I don't have a seat on because I had to rebook the train, whatever. So I called you panicking because I didn't know how I was going to do it.
A few times. I was out doing some shopping. Just being a real...
housewife.
Real fucking housewife.
But my point is then, I dragged all my fucking luggage and shit from King's Cross. And so, when I saw you, I had been through a lot. I had been through a lot. I mean, whatever. Now it's like little is violent, but it was a lot of effort. But
were you in school when you got that tattoo? What age were you?
I was in college.
What is college?
University. I was going to university in New York. And
university.
And I would fly back to California for breaks sometimes, and I would, like,
for spring break. Is that what the kids call it?
I don't think. Well, I guess I did do some spring.
You call
break.
it spring break, and we call it Easter.
Easter. Yeah.
We're celebrating Jesus coming back to life, and you're drinking and getting your tits out. That's the difference in the culture.
That's not when my tits were out when I had to get the tattoo.
That's what we see on TV.
That is what it's like that movie we watched last night.
Oh, yeah. Which one?
Well, so before, basically we had to stop recording the podcast, right? We had to stop recording the podcast. And you were like, should I put on some music? And I started to have this, like, flashback of being in lockdown and not feeling very good. And then I was like, being my own trip keeper, I was like, okay, what do you need right now? And what I realized I needed right now was because I'd sort of put off a lot of things the past 10 days I was at the Fringe. I was like, oh, maybe I just need to sit down and process some trauma from my young adulthood.
Sounds fun.
Well, you know what? Yeah, at this point, what else? What am I doing? What else? I've had a lot of fun. I had the best time in university going and hanging out with my friends. We were, this little group of people. I had more fun than I could ever imagine at an age when I think you should do that, right? But what are we doing now? What do you want to go to a nightclub? I don't know. That sounds like a fucking nightmare to me. What are we gonna go? I mean, it would be nice to go to the park. I guess, but
we just didn't think about that at the time, though.
Yeah, but so I looked at you and I was like, would it be all right with you if I just laid on the floor in a blanket and cried? And you were like, well, if you're going to do that,
I'm going to continue watching my 9/11 documentary.
Yeah. So I was like, okay.
Which is way more intense on mushrooms. Whoa. I was like...
Yeah. Is that why you stopped?
I was nearly falling off the couch. I was getting blown away.
God, no pun intended.
I can believe it.
Well, yeah. I think I made it through one song.
Then I started laughing at some crazy jokes were popping into my head, which were bad. But they're going through the rubble and stuff. And I was thinking, if this was... if this happened in 2021, 20 years later, there would be a few people going through the rubble looking for their phone. They would be. Because they're just I would need to get on Instagram to take a picture that I was here.
You're not wrong. That is sadly accurate.
I hope you didn't look up and see me watching people going through the rubble from the old footage, and I'm kind of giggling because I was laughing at what was going on in my head.
No, but
not the tragedy that was... September 11, 2001.
Well, the irony of that. So basically what I was doing was I can't yet figure out exactly, you know what I mean? Everything. What I told you was leaving New York, I did not expect to leave. I mean, when I left my apartment, I thought I was going back, and I had built a life there. And, I don't know. I'm definitely overly sentimental when chapters of a book end in life, you know what I mean? And probably due to the fact, my father left the way he did. Probably, I could only assume. So I get, so when I have all these playlists I used to make when I was walking from different comedy venues, like I made them every month. That is what I did, and I would listen to them, and I've done it honestly since I was a kid. I made. When during that time I was talking about, with all those drugs, that month I made a mixtape for Brendan, Barbara, and Matthew, and they all had the same artists on it, right? But different songs by the same artists, and then each one had one special song just for them. That's the kind of shit I did. Where did I have time for that? I have no idea. But so I decided to put on a playlist from right before I went to the Fringe, because I was it was a totally different time and place, and that's what music does, right? You can listen to it and you can kind of go back there. And I put on Father John Misty, and then I began to weep because I remember the way I felt then, and I'm not romanticizing it or idealizing it or whatever, but it's just kind of I remember whatever. Yeah. So I was weeping, and then you're watching this 9/11 movie, and I look
and I'm
up,
giggling, so it must have been quite the scene.
Well, meanwhile, we have these neighbors that just moved in. I think I don't know if they're our actual neighbors. What I think...
They're rich kids anyway.
I think their parents own the flat, and they are rich kids who are staying there. I don't know. Because I did see a letting agent showing a family the balcony.
Anyway, when they party, they like to party for the whole weekend. And they were...
in a lame way, though.
They were throwing down some shapes last night.
Shapes?
Throwing down some shapes.
Is that
I don't know, dancing, showing shapes, making shapes.
I've never heard that, but that's funny. Okay. Yeah, they had balloons and shit. But they were basically having a Great Gatsby party. They looked like they were dressed like that, which was amusing because after I cried to one song and you wrote a 9/11 joke, we decided to put on He's All That. I saw that when I saw it just sitting there, and I was like, what is this? And I've never been so grateful to see something so stupid.
It's on Netflix.
Appear on my TV
It's a
screen.
remake of the 90s classic. She's All That.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, they're making one about fellers. It's going to be funny. More, the boys are having a good time.
I just was like, if there was something that I never asked for that I didn't know I needed, it was a remake of a already perfect movie. And boy, is it horrible. I love it. It's exactly what I needed. You couldn't have prescribed me something better.
I think it started off great, but I wonder, is that because we were tripping and it was very funny how stupid it was. But as the movie went on, I was like, this, because they're not being ironic. These people they're not actors.
They're not actors.
They're TikTok stars.
Yeah.
And everything is so autistic and clunky.
Did you mean artistic?
No, I meant autistic.
The only guy who could act was the guy,
the blonde bully guy.
The blonde bully guy.
The classical high school blonde bully with a six-pack.
But that's because he's a former Disney star.
He could dance and shit. He was pretty impressive.
Because I think you said while we were watching it, because Disney trained him.
Yeah, Disney trained him.
Yeah.
Who knows what he had to do to get that good at dancing.
Well, then I Googled him, right? Because, we're sitting here, and once you realize, like, the movie's too dumb to watch on its own, you start to, like, question things, right? So I Google him, and apparently this, like, former Disney star accidentally, on purpose, I don't know, released some fucking, I think, thing on TikTok or Twitter or some shit where it's, like, basically a clip of him fucking his girlfriend. Of course, I can't find it. And then I was like, how
it might be child porn anyway.
That's what I was thinking. So I was like, I'm just going to let it go. But the most alarming part of this movie, I think, was when I see this, like, you know those, did you ever have, they were like stretch dolls?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like Stretch Armstrong, I think.
Stretch Armstrong, yeah.
Yeah, well, then I see this woman that looks like, a frail stick figure version of that. And I was like, that's fucking Rachel Lee Cook with her stretched out face. Because she's had work done. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, look, I can't knock somebody for getting work and whatever. But also you're like, if, like, the last thing I saw you in was She's All That. Then she did Josie and the Pussycats. I did watch it. It was very bad. But then the next thing I see you in is a remake of the movie that gave you a shot. The shot you kind of missed.
What is it, 22 years later?
I get, well, it was apparently 1999 in the movie. So yeah, like 22 years later. 22 years later, and you're the mom now, and you've had visible Botox. So I'm like, okay, something about this feels bad.
Yeah,
to me.
Hollywood doesn't work out for a lot of people.
Well, so then I Google her, right? Because I'm like, what's been going on? And there's this New York Times article, which, like, somebody paid for, right? Like, that's how this shit works. Somebody pays for, they're like, oh, here's my client, blah, blah, blah. So it's this New York Times article. She barely looks like a regular human. Like, the photos have been so tight. Whatever, fine, fucking live your truth. But, like, the article is like, oh, she's getting a divorce after 15 years, and she turned down X-Men, which, like, she doesn't want to talk about today because her, co-star, one of her co-stars and She's All That, Anna Paquin, went on to do it, and, like, there's, like, a quote in there. She's like, when I saw the posters, I knew I'd made a mistake. And it's like, holy shit. So you got your shot with She's All That, and then you turned down X-Men? Like, I'm not an actor, and I've never even watched X-Men, and I know that was a mistake. So, I don't know. This article was kind of like, and then it was like her and then Matthew Lillard. I think that's his name, Matthew Lillard, whatever. He's like, she's a force to be reckoned with. And I'm like, she's literally, you're both in the remake. That's it. That's what you do. The delusion there of whatever's but also I feel so bad, but also I'm sorry I'm saying any of this.
I wonder what the paycheck was, though. It's pretty decent.
I mean, of course it's decent. She didn't do it for free.
Oh, God, no. I mean, she's just basically not ruined her legacy, but the whole thing's tragic and everyone knows, and especially that fucking chick's her daughter in the movie. That chick's her in the movie. 22 years later, this, I don't want to say, fucking retarded actress that is
She's
bad.
not an actress. She's like a TikTok star.
She doesn't look that good. She don't, like, compared to her in the first one, she doesn't act that good. The whole thing's just,
the first one's a masterpiece by comparison.
Yeah, she's like bad. She is bad at movies. I don't want to be mean, but she's bad at movies. Every time she came on screen, I was like, oh yeah, this is, I can't even, this is...
some of I mean, you know,
This chick's bad at what she's doing. You're bad. You can be bad at stuff. She's bad at this.
we're in our mid-30s and we're critiquing a movie that's not meant for a demographic.
I'm critiquing teenagers that are on the spectrum.
But another huge misstep and this is coming from me. I'm a movie exec now. I'm a Netflix exec. I'm gonna actually produce my own. You know what? I'm not gonna produce my own special. I'm gonna get the girl that starred in He's All That, and she's gonna do a comedy special, and I'm gonna put it on Netflix. That's my decision as like.
Plus the heat and He's All That fucking sucked.
That he is wearing a wig. The child is wearing a wig. There is no way that hair is real. Rachel Lee Cook was wearing a wig. I wonder if that was a nod. They had this real meta nod. What was it? They played. Didn't she go like, why do I know this song?
Yeah, there's some.
Yeah, they played the fucking iconic song. Nobody knows what it's called. It just says "Kiss Me." You know, what's the song called? Nobody knows. I think the band was Sixpence None the Richer. It's the only song they ever did.
I wanted to get royalties over the second movie. I mean, they must have done.
Somebody covered it, right? So, because of course they remixed it. You know, they added in like everybody's 12-year-old dick, and now it's like it got a beat. But yeah, the kid says the line and everything. Am I a bet? Am I a fucking bet? You know, and
he fucking sucked. The more the movie went on, he shit. They're both shit. They deserve each other. How shit they were.
The only
that blonde kid fucking ruled.
Yeah, the
that
guy,
Nazi
the Disney star,
Disney kid is awesome.
The Nazi Disney kid was great.
He knew he was better than the rest of them as well.
Yeah, because he's Disney, man. Of course.
He was some sick moves on the dance floor.
Well, then Matthew Lillard was good in the 35 seconds he was in it.
Yeah, but I mean, he reminds me of
tragic.
A Matthew Perry situation where I feel like he's probably been doing fucking donors for the last 20 years. He was great in Scream in 1999, 1987. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happened in between there.
Well,
fuck it. They just need money. I mean,
look, that's what I mean. I'm not trying. I'm just, but let's. It was like I googled Rachel Lee Cook, and like the first thing I see was like her being like, I was wondering if by joining the reboot, people would be like, oh look, this is like sort of sad and da 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 da. And it was like, then the next line was like, but she's thriving. And then I read the article, and there's nothing indicating in that article that she is actually thriving.
I know we were sad. I was sad for her.
I was
especially watching the actual original afterwards. I wonder does Freddie Prinze Jr. kind of like look at her with disgust, because I mean he really made a success of 90s movies and then got out.
Yeah, he banged Sarah Michelle Gellar forever. They're together still, so successful marriage.
Who does have a little cameo in the original.
Yeah.
It was such their time. Buffy, the Vampire Slayer, all those kids.
Dude, I was watching it with the biggest boner I've had in a while, because I was like, God, remember, this is the golden era of like teen movies. You know, the best teen movie that's been made since then, in my opinion, is Superbad, right? Like
that's still 15 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. But like the movie, which I was surprised to see only has like a 6 something on IMDb or whatever. But like, there was like that ridiculous scene where Matthew Lillard does all those sick dance moves at that fucking party.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
And they're drinking alcohol like real teenagers. In the fucking in the new one, they're like, oh my, you want a seltzer? And I'm like, oh, give me a break. We're really doing this right now?
And they're just on their phones the whole time. They catch that in the movie that they're on their phones and they're autistic.
Yeah.
It is a good reflection on life. It is how things have progressed in 20 years.
Well, that's what I was going to say about Father John Misty, right? So I cried to one Father John Misty song, and then somehow we ended up both. You stopped your movie, and I stopped crying, but then we put on Father John Misty's like new song from a year ago, and we watched that music video, which was really like, supposed to be some poignant.
It was depressing.
Yeah, observation of society. But yeah, it was like some guy walking through like a fucking rubble, and he collected all these phones, and they figured out how to turn them on, and then it said like phones for cheap or whatever. So anyway, the point, it comes back to this whole thing. We're all on our phones too much. I know people who like won't even get a real phone.
I love that. I wish I could do that, but it's too late now. It's already, my brain has already been rewired.
What do you think? What if is it too late?
Yeah. What are you meant to do?
I don't know. I mean, have any kind of self fucking control.
You need it for. I need it for work. As soon as your eyes hit the screen, you're already fucking fingering the next thing to fucking gaze at like a fucking dope. It's very sad.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't even know what I'm looking at anymore because like yesterday. So it's taken me like almost a week to like recover from just overexerting the energy I didn't even have going there. I didn't sleep 2 days before going to the Fringe, basically. Like I just couldn't sleep. So I was already going there like fucked up. I am maybe one of the only people I know that came out of there not getting coronavirus, you know, so maybe the vaccine works. I don't know. But yesterday I was like staring at my phone because there's a website. This is a really boring story, but I once had this pair of Fendi sunglasses from spring season 11, and I sold them for like no money, which was stupid because I should have kept them. And then somebody's selling a pair of them in a better color on one of those like fucking, you know, buy shit secondhand sites. And I want them, but it won't let me. I can't even get into it. It won't let them. They're located in this country, but it won't let them ship them to me in this country because their country of origin, Italy, requires all this custom shit that apparently they don't have. And I literally want to be like, hey, I'll come pick them up from you, but the website won't let me say, like it deletes it every time I say it. So basically, I spent 45 minutes to an hour trying to buy a pair of sunglasses that I don't need just to fill a void that definitely can't be filled with sunglasses, but it's like a sunglasses shaped void right now. And then I spent all that time trying to do that. And then I was like, and it won't let me ask the girl if she's selling them anywhere else, right? Like, so the website monitors all your correspondence. So anytime I've tried to do it, it deletes it. So then I spent another like 2 hours just trying to find her somewhere else online, like a psychopath. That's what I was doing. That is what I was doing with my spare time yesterday, because I was like, maybe if I buy these Fendi sunglasses in a different color that I sold over 7 years ago, I will be happy for 5 fucking minutes.
Yeah, that's not healthy.
That's what I did on my phone. That is what I did. That is what I'm doing on my phone. Like, so it's like I'm not even like.
What would things be like if there was no smartphones?
Oh, what are we doing here?
Well, I was in
Waking Life 2.0.
I was in remedial class the whole way throughout my education. Remedial class, the other kids had a different R word for it. And I was there with all the foreign kids that were from like the war-torn countries, and we were just learning our ABCs. I could only learn my ABCs when
we could literally read a book. Like half the time I'm sitting there and I'm holding my phone and I'm like, I could just put it down and read a book.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I climbed all the way out of remedial class into like non-remedial class.
Remedial life.
Like no, to like as in I climbed my way up to a decent education by the time I left school, and then I feel like I had 5 years of being smart, and then phones came along and destroyed my mind. Yeah, but
there's free will.
Nah.
Well,
maybe.
I don't know. I mean, what? Well, but here's the thing. Don't you feel like absolute shit when you realize, like, oh, it's been my day off and I've sort of, like, wasted it not... And the world is literally your oyster. Sometimes I sit there and I'm like, the world, there it is, a big, beautiful fucking clam. And I'm like, on my phone, not even taking a picture of the clam.
Yeah, but you got to, like, you know, if you want to do something, you got to go on your phone to research. And then the next thing, 4 hours pass and you literally hate yourself. I
don't know. Why do you think there's the same enthusiasm, or why you can't generate the same? I think your brain can be rewired, right? Like to generate the same enthusiasm for reading a book, meditating, fucking learning how to deal with shit that you've never dealt with before, looking up new recipe, like to make. You know, we're sick of the food we're eating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So
the food I cook.
The food you cook is delicious.
Tread carefully.
No, but I'm saying, like, we're having the same kind of thing over and over again, right? We're shopping for the same sort of stuff. We're making the same thing. Rather than being like, oh, why not try to buy something different and try a new thing? Do you know what I mean? And maybe I could look up a thing.
Yeah, you got to look it up on your phone. Boom.
Yeah,
back into the same cycle.
But that's what I'm saying. But we're using the phone in a different way. Like, I'm refreshing a page for jewelry that I want to buy that I do not need, that I never will buy unless it is, you know, under a certain amount of money. So, like, I refresh that page about 50 times a day because I'm like, maybe a deal will pop up, because they do, right?
It is mentally ill.
Yes. Yeah. So my point is like there are plenty of other productive things. It's like everything it's got a, well, not to come back to this, but this is like my new thing. Carl Jung, you have the dark side and the light side. Right now, I think we're on the dark side of the phone. But the phone can be used for good. Like, oh, okay, I'm going to try this recipe. And, this is where the library, I mean, I know where the library is, but you don't know where the library is, oddly enough. This is where the library is. I'm going to go check out a new whatever, or you know, what have you. But instead, I think I'm personally trapped in a cycle of, like, uselessness on it.
Yeah. No, it fucking sucks.
Well, what? How do you, aside from, you know what's funny? I even tried at one point, like a long time, or I guess like when we were in lockdown, I tried to download one of those apps that would like lock me out of social media.
I always think about downloading one of those. And I get distracted.
I can't figure out how to use it.
I don't even get as
or
far
you
as
have to pay it. And I'm like, I'm not going to pay you because I have no self-control. I just need to have some fucking self-control.
If I smash my screen up more, I'll probably use my phone less. That might be my ticket to a clearer mind. I
don't know. I think there's how proud of yourself would you feel if you could just like do it? Like today I've been on my phone far less than I've been normally, and I already feel better. And I'm not even doing anything. Like I'm not even necessarily like sitting there and getting on like Facebook or whatever. Or I just sort of like, I'm literally staring at it thinking, what can I do on this right now?
Fucking tragic.
And I barely even know how to use it. You know, we were watching He's All That. Did you see there was this scene where, well, he doesn't have a phone, right? He's All That. He's got a phone that doesn't even look like a phone. It looks like a chewed up piece of garbage.
He also dresses like he was in Havana or something. It's fucking...
Not even, no.
It's such a fake look.
He looked like he bought all of his clothes at TK Maxx here.
Yeah.
And then tried to... I mean, he was wearing like a G.G. Allen shirt.
I'm
like, are we really doing this right now? But
the turning point is when I'm a fucking bet, and then he disappears, and then the next thing they're at the prom, and he comes in with an AR-15. Then I'd be like, this movie is way closer to reality than.
Yeah,
I would have been like 6 stars.
Yeah, he was like he took pictures with his like dead mom's camera.
Yeah,
and at one point you were like, wouldn't it be crazy if it was like child porn?
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, that's a twist.
If it was an incel that was into child porn that they'd done up and made beautiful, that would have been a good movie. I'm going to start writing that script. They're All That. The next iteration.
Oh God. Okay, wait, yeah. And then what is it? It's like. Oh, okay, wait, I got it. So it's like Rachel Lee Cook is in it. She's basically Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like a Ghislaine Maxwell type. Matthew Lillard, sorry, you did it to yourself. You're back in it.
Yeah.
Freddie Prinze Jr. is nowhere near this.
And they're getting shitty-looking child prostitutes and making them acceptable for the elite.
Shitty, but what? So what? Are they in like one of the inner city schools?
They go to an inner city school and there's all these beat up kids.
So they're dealing with poor kids.
Yeah, but they go in with makeup, deodorant.
Ooh. They get to the parents, right? Because they say to the parents, we will pay for your child to go to like a private school.
Yeah.
And the parents like, well, we want the best we can for the kid, but then they're like trafficking
and this
the
private
kids secretly.
this private school is all Disney dancing in the fucking...
Oh, yeah, it is Disney
in
dancing.
The canteen.
Oh, that's good.
And straight away you have to drop your gender to something a bit more. That's they're All That.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
we're like making it even more modern.
But I don't think. I mean, it was Prince Andrew. I don't think he wanted a there. He wanted a little girl.
Well, you know, there's going to be like a couple of writers' rooms on this. I mean,
we're in it right now. We're in the writers' room right now.
So they're All That. Inner city kids
going to Disney school,
getting cleaned up and then sold to the Epstein and Maxwell's.
The Epstein.
No, they're the ones who do the cleanup.
They're
the ones who do the makeup. So they are.
God, did you not even watch the documentary?
Yeah, no. I'm trying to get it straight in my head.
No, they're the teachers, if you will.
They're the teachers.
But you got other teachers.
You have to make these kids hot.
They're the principal and the
Let's
vice
get these kids hot so they're worth putting very powerful people in compromised positions.
And then what?
I don't know. Bill Clinton makes
How does it end?
It's a prom where everyone is 15.
8 years old. Okay,
Yeah.
no, okay, fine.
And then Bill Gates and Bill Clinton come in suits, and they start measuring the kids' skulls.
What is that called? What is that? Not phonology.
I don't know, craniology?
No,
I
there's
don't
a
know.
word for it. I learned about it. Somebody told me about it recently, but I forgot what the word is. It's very weird. But anyway, fine. So they're measuring.
They measure their
Skulls.
skulls. They take notes, and then
Just their skulls.
And then it's like there's a Disney dance-off scene with all
Oh,
the
there is a. Oh, there is a Disney. It's kind of like
And
American
then-
Idol. Like they
and-
dance and then.
and then all the lights go out, and the stage lights up with a kind of like an icy white light, and that's when they start the auction.
Okay, but then how does the movie end?
How does the movie end?
School shooting.
School shooting.
Yeah.
The one ugly kid they couldn't clean up for some reason wanted to get molested because he was
Kills everybody.
yeah.
Even the kids. The other kids die.
Just the ones that were mean to him.
No, just the bullies.
Just the bullies.
Just the bullies.
The bullies
die.
all die.
Yeah.
The bullies all die, and then Bill Clinton goes, "Oh, I like something with a bit of spice."
Yeah, but he says that right before he dies.
no, he survives.
Why does he survive?
You can't kill what's never been born.
alive.
Been around since the dawn of time.
Okay. I don't know if I like that. Because can't we just get a twist? I mean, I know, I hate to sound like my mom, but like, she only watches Hallmark movies now, which incidentally also happens to be the only movies Rachel Lee Cook has done in the last 10 years. But, call me a simpleton with a bit of a heart, but it would be nice if it ended on a high note after all that sort of tragedy.
Okay, all the bullies die. And
What about the adult molesters?
adult
Rachel Lee
molest-
Cook dies. Matthew Lillard dies.
Yeah, okay, I guess.
Or do they get arrested? But see, the cops
They
aren't
get
good
arrested.
either. See, the problem is like I never am
They
rooting for the cops.
testify.
They test positive for COVID.
They test positive for COVID, and they both are found hanging in their prison cells
Okay, that's
because they did a suicide.
a bit. It's a bit hack. I think I've heard this
And
one
then it
before.
goes, "Kiss me down by the moonlit morning, lightly." And then I guess our main character walks out, still looking really pretty. They walk out looking really pretty, and they get a really good place in university
and then
because the
the
head of Harvard School Studies University, he was
also
there.
wants to molest children.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they have him black. They have the
Oh,
the
so
whole
the
thing.
cycle just
all the
starts
poor,
over again.
okay, all the poor inner city kids. We've got like 4 or 5 main characters. We got a Puerto Rican one, a black one, a gay white one. Like covering every angle. All those survived the shooting because they're just nimble, and they get from the inner city.
Nimble.
They're going nowhere, and now suddenly they're in Harvard, and they got university lecturer positions. Because they need to keep their mouth shut. Everyone else kills themselves in prison. Down by the green grass, sing a ding a ding.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not loving the
I know it's
ending.
going to take a few. I mean, okay, like the kids do well in the end,
Okay.
and they adopt.
And what I think what would be nice is if like, they spent so long grooming them that nobody ever really got molested.
Okay, I mean, if you want to play that card, you can play that card.
Play that card. What card? What are the other cards?
Okay,
to
let's
play?
say
everybody gets
Yeah,
molested.
okay, the fucking scene where they're like the montage where they're like putting makeup
and
on.
then a Law and Order episode is made.
Yeah, of course, straight afterwards.
Yeah,
Because
that's
they've got their
good.
finger on the pulse of a lot of things, don't they?
Yeah. That's sort of nice. And they get the royalties. And then, maybe they all get to go to Mars, on a trip to Mars.
Okay, this is getting a bit ridiculous.
Why? What?
Right, I don't know where this is going.
You don't, now you don't know where it's going? Because they get to go to Mars with Elon Musk as a reward? Well, that's not a reward, going with him. But
Yeah. Elon.
well, let's be honest. He was on the ring.
No, he wasn't. Anyway, you can.
I'm sorry, you're defending Elon Musk now?
Well, I'm just saying there's probably no statutory laws in space.
Statutory.
Space is a lawless place when you want to bring a kid there to show him the stars. And by stars, I mean my penis.
Space is a lawless
You want to see the
place.
moon and the stars?
The moon?
Yeah, we're just leaving orbit and all the laws of Earth behind. Hey, did you know that no one really has an age in space? Little 6-year-old boy.
All right, fine. They don't go to space. Or no, that's the sequel. They're all that in space.
Yeah, they're all that in space.
Maybe you should be a screenwriter.
I always thought that. I mean, my brain's a bit foggy today, but other days I'll read.
Hey, do you think this was any good? Do you think we should release this?
We gotta, because we just gotta.
What? So the answer then is no.
Yeah, let's release it.
Well, no, you don't think it's good?
I'm battling with brain fog, but I think we're having a great time, and we got other episodes we're gonna put on the Patreon anyway, aren't we?
Yeah, we got another episode that'll go on the Patreon. I think if you want to hear us bitch about the new JFL, which I've never watched, but I accidentally ended up in a weird JFL hole.
This is the podcast
bus.
for public consumption, and then the one on the Patreon is more for private consumption.
Yeah, for private consumption, with your dick out.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. You know, you have anything else to say? Is there any? Are there any loose ends that we started during
There's
this?
a
that needs
million
to
loose
be
ends to tie up, but what can we do?
Are there? I don't know. I thought.
Well,
I
if
did
we go back to that apartment in California, you got back there after taking the mescaline, and your phone melted in your hand. But I can't remember where the end of that story was going.
I kind of feel like I've even told this on the podcast before. There's no way I haven't. Really?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't think so.
Well, mescaline, like unlike LSD, you know how like LSD you can kind of like walk into a room and you have like a second, like before it all goes kooky.
Crazy, yeah.
Mescaline, you don't get that second.
Yeah, it's crazy already.
It's very crazy. Yeah, like my friends had like Polaroids of everybody on the wall. I was in one of them, and we were moving around in the like I waved at myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty. And they had this unicorn made out of straws, like a unicorn head on their wall, and it like winked at me.
Oh my lord.
And I guess this is the point of the trip keeper, the person who was left in control of us. Not in control, but just to make sure everything went smoothly, is an alcoholic. And he drank easily, after drinking all day, about 12 beers himself. He got so drunk, we tied him to his bed.
So he couldn't destroy the place.
No, so I don't know why we decided to tie him to his bed, but we were high on mescaline. I had bought, actually, incidentally, at Nordstrom Rack, like 2 days before, I bought these rose-colored, they were hideous, but they were orange and they were rose-colored, like orange frames, rose-colored lenses, Prada sunglasses, specifically to wear while I was high on drugs, because I thought it would be beautiful. So I have like 2 pictures from this evening, and it's of 2 of my friends, and it's a massive close-up of both of them wearing the sunglasses, like screaming into the camera. Like you can barely even see it, but then we decided to tie him to his bed because he was being a drunk animal, I guess, and he had been really funny. He was like crushing beers and then like crushing the cans and throwing them, and yeah, so he went to pass out on his bed, and we had a bunch of rope, or we found some rope. Of course, the Colton had rope laying around. That's the kind of person he is. And we, like, took a cane, and, like, the amount of shit under his bed was alarming. So we, like, we tied the rope to the cane and used the cane to get it under the bed. So we're, like, tying him, like, to the bed. And, then I remember we were, like, staring at him, like, laughing at him, right? Because we were like, haha, we've tied, you know.
Why is he just terrified, not knowing what's going on?
No, he's passed out. These
kids on drugs are...
He is passed out, and then he woke up to go to the bathroom, and with alarming ease, he saw and he was like, blah, blah, and just sort of was, like, picking it up, and, like, quite seamlessly just shimmied out of the rope.
Well, you kids didn't go to Boy Scouts to learn how to tie knots.
oddly enough, actually, yeah, I think Colton is a Boy Scout. But so we were impressed that he got out of, I'll put it this way, like, our friend Barrett, I think, had cleaned the house, spent all day while I was getting tattooed, cleaning his apartment, right? Then he went to spend the night at his friend Corey's. And when he got back the next day, there was a shark tent out. There was a skunk costume out. Like, the place was trashed. The place was absolutely wrecked. At one point, my friend Brendan had told me he had broken a bunch of glass in the kitchen. That didn't happen. I don't know what he saw or what he thought he did. But I know, like, I thought the floor was ice, and I would fall into a lake. Like, this went on all night long. When we woke up at 2 p.m. the next day, we left their apartment, and we're walking down the street, and, like, we run into their neighbor, one building, like the building over, not in the same unit, but just, like, next door in the other building, and he goes, "Was that you guys partying last night?" Which means, like, one building over, they can hear, like, people screaming at, like, 2:30 in the morning, "Don't step on the ice!" Like, just, like, being absolute lunatics. So, yeah, I guess, like, you tried to find somebody who was supposed to remain more or less slightly more sober than you to take care of you, to make sure you're not being too loud and shit like that. But we had tied him to the bed, and so we couldn't do that. But it wasn't. And the heroin addict had, she had to drive home, because she had to do heroin.
Oh yeah, they tend to.
She's a journalist now.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, what a happy ending. She's all that.
She is all that.
Brilliant.
Good for her. Yeah. No, honestly, I think it's nice. I'm a big supporter of the idea of ruining your life early, because you have time to maybe climb out of there. Do it before your mid-20s, right?
Yeah, so you have an excuse.
Because if you do it later, if you suppress everything, if you don't do any drugs and you wait until, like, later, you're just going to fuck up your adulthood.
You just die.
I ended up on a website recently. I don't even know how but I was looking at mugshots of people in, like, some town in Missouri, and I just was scrolling through all these mugshots, and it doesn't say what they did, but you can Google it. I did this the other day. I don't know why. Really, there's some pretty... Wow.
God punishes in strange ways.
Yeah, well.
Giving you a bad face, that's a bad punishment. What can you do?
Well, is there anything you want to say?
No. It's perfect. All good. I feel fat, but whatever.
Well, he's...
all that?
I was going to say something like big and fat, but I don't know. Let's go.
Okay, good night. Good day. Good afternoon.
This